Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome back to Jurassic World Evolution 3. We're working in a Canadian sort of alpine dino park. Just wanted to do something a little different from the traditional sort of tropical park that you're used to from the movies. And being a denizen of Canada, I thought there would be a fun thing to try and do. In the first episode, we spelt the name wrong, so that's been fixed. Thank you to everyone who pointed out that the sign said Canada or whatever it said. I don't know. So we fixed that, and we're moving on to some other features of the game. The first one being the new terrain features. Really quite incredible stuff. The water, if you do 2 levels of water touching each other, you get a waterfall. They procedurally generate, and they're kind of awesome. You're going to get bored of me saying, oh, that's a feature I'd like in the Planet games, but that is a feature I would like in the Planet games, to be honest with you. I don't know whether they would work as well in the Planet series, honestly. The scale is much more developed in Jurassic World Evolution. It's a much larger scale because, you know, the things you care about are huge dinos, so it makes sense. Obviously, you can build very small, very detailed, but for the most part, you know, the game in general wants you to kind of work on this bigger sort of scale than perhaps you would in other games. If you haven't picked that one up, by the way, and you're looking to, there's a link in the description. That's an affiliate link, so if you're going to grab it, you can grab it using that link, and the channel gets a little kickback, so we appreciate your support for that. But yeah, for everyone who has got hold of it, are you enjoying it? Are you getting on well with it? I feel like this is the strongest in the series, to be honest with you. The management side is a lot more enjoyable for me personally. It feels a lot less sort of the original game felt like a mobile game. You just sort of click buttons and waited for stuff to happen, whereas here there's a lot more sort of choices you're making, and it definitely feels like there's just a lot more of a robust management system. And obviously these new terrain features and the new building features, as much as I'm sort of banging my head against them a little bit because the controls are so different to the Planet games, they are really quite incredible. We're going to be able to make some really awesome stuff with them, and including this sort of pool area. I wanted something that was like natural with the waterfalls that then came down to a man-made area as an entrance plaza. There's these beautiful, huge fountains in the game that I really wanted to make use of, give the Bellagio a run for its money. There's only so much you can do with the path in this game. It certainly isn't as robust as the Planet series, especially Planet Coaster 2, but you can still do, you know, everything you kind of want to do with it. It just takes a little bit of work. One thing you can't really do very well is it has to sit with the terrain, and you get these sort of big lumps after them, so we do have to use some scenery here to kind of make like a lip. But once it's done, I actually think it looks pretty neat, and you get this nice sort of man-made lake area that works off of the natural areas, which in turn will make natural barriers for the dinos. That's right, we're putting some dinosaurs in here. It's only taken to episode 2 for us to have dinosaurs in our dinosaur park. That was my terrible Jeff Goldblum for you there. A couple of bits where the terrain just doesn't work. We add these rocks, and I think a combination of these awesome terrain features and these lovely custom rocks are going to make a real nice tool set. I actually want to probably go back in and add some more custom rocks in between the waterfall there, because it's a little smooth. I think a little bit more work on there will really help. But those waterfalls, as long as they're deep enough, the sort of transition from one water to the other is deep enough, it actually does act as like a cliff as far as the dinos are concerned, and it creates a natural barrier. It means we don't have to use a ton of fencing. Obviously, we will be using some fencing, but I love a combination of fencing and natural barriers. It gives it a real sort of vibe of an actual zoo. Cut to nighttime when we're placing the animals down. We've gone for some Ankylosaurus. I think there's a guy and 3 girls. Lucky him. And we've also put down a nest, so maybe they'll make some babies. It didn't happen during this playthrough, but maybe it will. To be honest, I'm playing on pause a lot of the time because there's no current way to set the light in the game. There's no current way to set the sun outside of capture mode, and obviously we prefer a lighter time when building. This is at night time here because you still have to sort of go through the motions of creating the dinosaurs. It's not like Planet Zoo where you just sort of buy the animals in a menu and drop them in. You do have to sort of incubate the eggs. and stuff, which makes sense. You know, it's a real core part of the gameplay loop. So you can you start to go through the motions, which does mean you have to play the game. Sometimes you have to actually let the time run, and obviously the sun moves when that happens. So occasionally it will be dark. So that's why when it was dark, I did that sort of make the animals, make the eggs, make the dinos, put them in the park, and you know, make sure the terrain is right for them. One thing I don't know if I'm missing, or maybe it's just not a thing, is the terrain brushes, the foliage brushes that you use to keep the dinos happy. I don't see a way of sort of changing them from the sort of tropical preset. I'm not sure if they work similar to the Planet Coaster 2 brushes in that you can add things to them or not. If you can, I can't see anywhere. Or there's like a way to choose the biome that they're coming from. Obviously, this is an alpine style, sort of Taiga style park, you know, set in the Canadian wilderness. I want to have a lot of pines, oaks, maples, that kind of thing. And obviously, when we hand place them down around the park itself, we will be using those. But obviously, to do the dinosaur, keep the dinosaurs happy, you use those brushes, and they're placing down a lot of palm trees and what have you. So I don't know if it's something I'm missing or if it's just a limitation of the game. Can I go in and place down individual pine trees and it will count towards ground cover and tree nuts and all this thing they need, or is it just we're going to have the conceit that inside the fences it's going to look tropical? I don't know. I had to play around with that. If something you've already messed around with and you figured out, let me know. But it'd be nice to have the interiors of these stick with the sort of more northern brush, so to speak, and then they'd have to have like pine trees and stuff in there. I don't know, I'll have to little play around. Anyway, moving on to the building then, again keeping that sort of log cabin vibe from the entrance area we did, building a little bit more simple here. Still getting to grips with this. Felt a little bit better about building this one took maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that, whereas that the building we did in the first episode was like 4 hours, so the workflow is getting there. It's just figuring out what the game is capable of and what it's not capable of, and going into it not just expecting it to work like a Planet game, because it isn't a Planet game. It has a different vibe, it has a different use, it's trying to do different stuff, and yes, we have piece by piece building now, but again, I think you still have to bear in mind that it isn't just Planet Zoo with dinos, you know. The foliage is great, really loving the detail on them. Again, the LODs are definitely an issue. I really need to see a fix for LODs in both this game and Planet Coaster 2. They're just too extreme. Let it be something that I can change on PC. Heck, I'll use a mod. I think people are working on mods for it, and I'll end up just using those if nothing else, because it really sort of takes you out of it when the rhododendrons disappear from 3 feet away. Here you go, look, placing down individual plants, you can get some real nice stuff going down, these beautiful oaks and maples and what have you, and then we do some light work here on this little path up. I think it needs a bit of a separation there. Some people may be new to my channel because of this, so if you are, welcome. We do a lot of detailed building. What's the word I use? Implied realism. I mean, obviously less so in this game because it's dinosaurs. They're not real, but not anymore at least. But we try and make stuff look grounded within the space that it's working with. So things like that, little bits of foliage and rock, rather than just having green triangles everywhere. We're just trying to dial it up a little bit. And yeah, really starting to find a flow with this now. Looking forward to sharing more. Here, the benches, there's 2 of each bench. One will put guests on it, one won't. Kind of like that. I mean, I'd rather guests that potter around and use them, but you know, it's nice to be able to have the option of adding them or not. Beautiful waterfalls. Definitely, now looking at this now, definitely want to go back in there with some of the placement rocks and detail them a little bit more. But you can see the Ankylosaurus just having a little potter around in the background there in the wetlands. They're pretty happy with it. And then this gorgeous big waterfall as well. This is just currently like a lump of water on a rock. We'll need to sort of flesh that out so it actually looks like that waterfall could exist, because at the moment it isn't very realistic at all. but then you get a beautiful view of that waterfall from this viewing gallery for gentle giants. We may well add another dino in there to go alongside the Ankylosaurus, maybe some Triceratops, which would explain that statue. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, remember, if you want to pick up this game, you can use the affiliate link in the description to support the channel, and let me know how you're getting on with it. Are you enjoying it so far? Thanks for watching. Love you all to bits. Till the next one, be good.